Did you ever heard of Paul von Hindenburg? If yes, great. If not, I guess you were sleeping in your history class, right? Well, no problem. Therefore exists my YouTube channel so that you can refinish your knowledge that you missed in class. So pay at least attention now. Paul von Hindenburg was a very formative personality at the beginning of the 20th century. He was a German military officer, statesman and politician. He was born on the 2nd October 1847 in Posen, today's Poland, as Paul Ludwig Hans Anton von Bennickendorf und von Hindenburg. Amazing name, I know. He came from an East Prussian nobility family, which means he was raised after strict Prussian virtues. Courage, elegance and discipline, also in military meaning, were very important. That's why it's not really surprising that Hindenburg had a great military career. After the Franco-Prussian War in 1870–71, he was advanced to brevet major, later lieutenant colonel and finally general. After the breakout of the First World War, he took place of the supreme commander. Afterwards followed the proclamation of the Weimar Republic in 1918. The first Reichspräsident of the Republic was Friedrich Ebert, but he already died 1925. That's why re-elections were necessary, but nobody got majority in them. In the second ballot, the parties of the Weimar coalition, the SPD, the Social Democrats, the DDP, the German Democratic Party, and the Central Party supported Wilhelm Marx, who was belonging to the Centrals. On the other side, the Conservatives took the at this time already 70 years old neutral Field Marshal Paul von Hindenburg as candidate. Actually, he was not their favorite because he still had this monarchistic basic adjustment from his childhood. But he won the election anyway and got on the 26th April 1925 the new Reichspräsident of the Weimar Republic. Even if he was from monarchy, he took the oath on the Weimar Constitution and was acknowledged as the Reichspräsident from the democratic parties. The first years of his presidency proceeded very well, but first problems came up with the Wall Street crash in 1929, also known as Black Thursday. But after this crisis followed also a political crisis. The coalition split up because they could not reach an argument about the funding of the unemployment insurance. Hoping for a fast improvement at the current situation, Hindenburg appointed Heinrich Brüning, a member of the Central Party, as new chancellor, but without a majority in the parliament. How is that possible? Therefore existed the Article 48, which says that the Reichspräsident gets the power to rule with emergency decrees without the agreement of the parliament. This article was written to protect the Republic and to accelerate the legislative processes in times of crises. So in that way Brüning became chancellor. After this time those emergency decrees started to mass, but this policy, executed by the presidential cabinets, started to hollow out the parliamentary system. For explanation, this form of a cabinet was dependent on the president. The chancellor was allowed to enact in law even if only the president agrees to that. So Brüning was the head of the first presidential cabinet of the Weimar Republic. But back to his policy. He tried to stabilize the economic situation after the Black Thursday with austerity, but his plan did not work. Additionally, in June 1930, the Reichstag claimed the abolition of an emergency decree. Referring to that, Hindenburg decided to dissolve the Reichstag and called for re-elections. Surprisingly, the National Socialists made a big jump forward and became the second strongest party. In 1932 was the year for the election of the Reichspräsident, and Hindenburg has won it again. And with that, Hindenburg dismissed Brüning and appointed Franz von Papen as replacement, who was belonging to no party. This was the opening of the second presidential cabinet of the Weimar Republic. This one was not longer dependent on the SPD. No, now the NSDAP, the Nazi party, took a huge influence. A lot of people felt attracted to the propaganda of the National Socialists, and they also lost faith in the democratic system and craved for a strong man on top of Germany. Hindenburg already saw how popular Adolf Hitler, the head of the NSDAP, was by the German population, but he was not ready yet to appoint Hitler as Reichschancellor. In September 1932, new re-elections of the Reichstag were necessary, and the NSDAP gained again the most voters. But Hindenburg still did not want to see Hitler as Reichschancellor. So he took General Kurt von Schleicher, a close intimate of him, instead. With that, the third presidential cabinet was opened. Hitler got very furious when Schleicher appointed Gregor Strasser as vice-chancellor and not him. That caused a secret meeting between Hitler and the old chancellor Franz von Papen, who was still an influential advisor of the President Paul von Hindenburg. He and also other advisors pushed Hindenburg to declare Hitler as Chancellor. At this point, I'd like to mention a quote of the president. Immer habe ich nach dem Grundsatz gehandelt, Treue Treue, Vertrauen Vertrauen, which means I have always acted according to the principle, loyalty to loyalty, trust to trust. This is totally fitting here, because in that case he just believed his long-standing intimate Franz von Papen, who finally convinced him that this appointment of Hitler would be the right decision. On the 30th January 1933 was the day when Adolf Hitler officially became the Reichskanzler. This was the day how the National Socialistic dictatorship was led and meant the end of the Weimar Republic. In August 1934, Hindenburg died, and Hitler took his place as president immediately. If you want to know how history goes on, click here to watch the following video. Leave a like if this video refreshed your brain. So I see you next time when you slept again in your history class. Bye for now.